movie.
Don't be too excited, Terry. All right. So today, first of all, I want to thank you all for taking a half hour out of your lives to learn about how to take care of yourselves better. And today, we're going to be talking about, in my opinion, one of the most important subjects that I cover is lifetime care, taking care of yourself for a lifetime. And so there's a lot of weird stuff out there when it comes to lifetime care. What are some of the things that you've heard? What are some people's approaches to lifetime care? What are some of the things that you hear, good or bad, that about taking care of themselves? I can think of some two really doozies that I'll present to you. But I'm going to ask you guys, what are some of the things you've heard?
To do or not to do?
Either or. What about some of the crazy things you've heard about lifetime care?
Cycle of fad diets.
Yeah, fad diets, exactly. There's a lot of them out there. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What else?
I've heard, I'll worry about it tomorrow.
Yeah. I'll just put it off.
Put it off.
Put it off. Yeah. Okay. How does that work for people?
Not
well.
Not good.
Yeah. I just talked to a guy today, a patient of mine, really liked the guy a lot. He's 80. And he said, yeah, I started having these problems in my 50s, but I didn't do anything about it. And now he's kind of he's really beyond help, you know. Yeah, put it off.
I'll start Monday.
Yeah.
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 Start
Start
that
Monday.
A lot. I heard that
Next
a lot.
week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. What else? Anything a little bit more specific than that?
New Year's resolutions.
Okay, there's New Year's. How about this one? If I get vaccinated, I won't be sick. I mean, how did that work for COVID?
It didn't.
No, didn't work at all. In fact, every patient I have that got vaccinated ended up getting COVID.
It's not a vaccine.
Yeah, it's not even a vaccine. So that doesn't work. And kids that get the measles vaccine get measles. Happens a lot. Okay, so that's one. Here's another one I'll give you. And I've heard this, and I've seen people that do this. If I'm taking a cholesterol drug, I can eat anything I want. It doesn't matter because I'm taking a cholesterol drug.
Yeah.
That's the same with insulin.
Yeah. How did that work for Bill Clinton? He was on cholesterol drugs for 8 years and still had a heart attack. Didn't work well for him. Okay, so there's a lot of misconceptions about lifetime care, about taking care of ourselves. A lot of things that just aren't true. Okay, that's what we want to dispel some of those tonight and talk about that. So here's one of them. If it doesn't hurt, there must not be a problem. Is this a good attitude for sound health care? Why not? Why isn't it?
It doesn't always show signs until it's broken.
Yeah, so if your car doesn't have a seized engine, you don't change the oil.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I knew some college girls that had that philosophy.
Oh boy.
You know, but yeah, we change the oil because we want the car to work. Okay? So we take care of our bodies because we want them to work. As human beings, we want everything to work. We want our computers to work well, our cell phones to work well, our cars to be safer, more faster, you know, more service conscious. So that doesn't mean we always want to pay the price. So people make fun of other people sometimes that do. Like, anybody in here ever been called a health nut other than me?
Well,
You have? Okay.
I tell people I'm a health nut.
Oh, you
People agree.
just admit it. Okay, you just put it out there, right?
Right. His
Okay.
family knows I'm the
Yeah,
and I don't care. That's my choice.
yeah,
You're
I know.
You're extreme.
yeah. And I've been called a health nut, and see my retort to that is, well, then what are you, a disease nut? I mean, you know, I am a health nut. You know, I want to stay healthy.
Yeah.
You know, and so here's one that my wife had to deal with. She used to work downtown with Homeland Security, and she would always bring these really. She brought up healthy lunches. I mean, really healthy lunches. You know, and she got she got made fun of a lot. You know, like everybody else was eating pizza, you know, and French fries. But all these people were constantly having doctor's appointments and doctor visits and missing work. And not only that, but she noticed their production was a lot lower than hers. Yet she was getting paid the same. That really bothered her. And I thought, you know, personally, I'm glad that happened because it really validated a lot of things that I was trying to tell her that she didn't believe before she started working down there. Said, see, Thelma, it really does matter how you take care of yourself. It does. And it's also true with chiropractic care. You know, you go back, you come back here and you're free of pain, people can ask, well, didn't they fix you yet? You still going back there? So all of us, and you've heard me say this before, most of you, we're designed from a blueprint that provides a template for vibrant health, and that's our spine, which houses our nervous system. The degree to which we reflect that blueprint is determined by the quality and the quantity of care that we provide for our bodies. If subluxations are present, your blueprint is altered, vibrant health is diminished, and you will age faster. It's one of the things that I've seen, I'll say it over and over and over, is that I've seen it for 42 years I've been in practice. People that get adjusted age slower. They just do. Here's another thing. You can take this to the bank too. If you get adjusted regularly for long periods of time, your chances of having a knee replacement or a hip replacement go down significantly. My dad died at 78 climbing a mountain in 112-degree weather. That's how he died. He never had a hip replacement, never had a knee replacement. My mother's 92, almost 93. She still drives every day. She doesn't drive every day, but she still drives to get her groceries. She still cleans her house. When I come, she cooks for me. She still reads every day. She's very active. She's taking care of herself. She's never had a knee replacement, never had a hip replacement. Okay, never. All right. So it is possible to age without those things. So we don't exercise today to prevent a heart attack tomorrow. We exercise because it enhances our life. It makes our bodies work better, and it even makes the meals we eat better, I think. We don't read to fix our brain so we don't have a headache. We know that if we use our brains, we can keep our brains healthy and sharp. And in 2 weeks, I'm going to be doing a talk in this office on how not to shrink your brain. What does the research tell us about keeping our brains healthy? That's what that talk is going to be about. So lifetime care is a discussion that a lot of people don't engage in. It's a minority of people that decides to take care of themselves before a crisis, okay? And so most people, there's a lot of people out there that don't even think about taking care of themselves unless they do have a crisis. So we don't wait till the IRS seizes our house before we respond to their inquiries. At least I wouldn't, okay? We don't wait till we have a heart attack before we start taking care of our hearts. So this is important point number 2. Lifetime care is not an outcome, but it's a never-ending process that we must consistently be engaged in. Anything that applies to the virtue of existence is a process. It's like I take guitar lessons, and I'm not very good, if you want to know the truth. But I practice a lot, and it's a process of learning, okay? It's something you have to do. You don't arrive. At least I certainly never have. So we have to be engaged in that process and taking care of ourselves. When are we going to begin exercising? Do we reach a point in our life where we go, no more exercise, no more walks, no, not doing it anymore? When are we going to stop eating the right food? Now, a lot of people have never eaten the right food, okay? When are we going to stop that? When are we going to stop eating healthy? When are we going to stop brushing our teeth? Is that something you stop at 70, or 65? Well, I'm retired. I guess I don't have to brush my teeth anymore. No, I mean, why do we brush them and floss? Why do we do that?
To keep them.
Because we want to keep them. We want to hang on to them. I want to hang on to mine at least. You know, I mean, I want to hang on to my spine too. When do we stop praying? When do we stop loving our family? I mean, all of these are things that we do continually. Now, some people, when they start chiropractic care, hear stories that you have to go for the rest of your life. You don't have to. You can stop going to chiropractor anytime. But why would you want to go? Why would you want to continue periodic care? Anybody?
Maintain.
Yeah. I mean, anybody in here ever hear about like a tooth replacement or getting false teeth? That's a dumb question. Everybody's heard of it. Anybody in here ever heard of a spine replacement? Okay. No such thing. Okay. We're not even close to being that technologically advanced. So, like, I believe in taking care of your teeth. Okay. So I want to keep mine, but I want to hang on to my spine too. But we can't get a spine replacement. We can get false teeth. We can actually get a tooth replacement if we need to. We can't even get a disc replacement. There's no such thing as a fake, sticking a rubber washer in between your two vertebrae and having that work. It just doesn't. So a lot of people want it because they get more informed, they feel better, they have more vitality. They want to protect their spine. They want to keep it as healthy as possible. And I asked my mother last time I was out there, just to hear what she'd say. I kind of knew it, but I just asked her, what's your secret for health? And she didn't even hesitate. She said, I get adjusted twice a week. I take good nutrition, meaning good nutritional supplements, and I get colon therapy once a month. That's what she said. That's my secret, okay? And she has all these other friends of hers that are way younger than hers that have had strokes, that have died, that have had all these health issues. They won't listen to her. She tries to tell them. They won't listen to her, okay? Because she knows she's found some secrets about taking care of herself and how her body works. Okay, so here's a story. I'll call this girl Sally, okay, in my office. That's a patient of mine, current patient. I have a couple people I could talk about. This particular patient came into me, I believe, for headaches a couple of years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. And so I started working on her, and she's stayed a patient since that time. But about 6 or 7 months ago, she said, every single year, she's in her 70s. She says, I've always had to go in the hospital for 2 weeks. She said, this year, since I've been seeing you, is the first time I haven't had to go to the hospital. Now, she had lung issues, okay? And she said, I went to my lung doctor, and she said, my lungs are doing great. And she said, what are you doing? And she said, I go to my chiropractor. She said, her lung doctor said, keep doing it. It's working. Now, a lot of people can't make sense of that. How does that work? Okay? They can't, that's hard for them to understand. And that's not new. There's a lot of things people don't understand. But let me ask you something. How does that work? How does it work that this woman who came into me, I think for headaches, now her lungs are better? Why is that? What's happened?
The brain communicating with the nerves.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty simple explanation. Her brain is communicating with the rest of her body. But it's possible that she had subluxations in the upper part of her spine. This is part of the body that goes to your lungs, okay? If you have subluxations in this area of your spine, your lungs and your heart can't work as well as they should. So she had some issues. She also had an enlarged heart on her x-ray. I saw that immediately when I saw her x-rays. She had an enlarged heart, okay? So she had some internal issues. But yeah, with chiropractic care, some of those things are starting to get better now. So here's number 3 point on lifetime care. Caring for your body or your health is something you do at certain moments and not at other moments. Is this true or false?
False.
False. Anybody think it's true? Okay, nobody. Well, that's good. Okay. So we really render care for ourselves at every moment. Now, how does that work? Well, let's think about our thoughts. Hans Selye was the guy in the 40s who, he was a physiologist who was the one who discovered this whole thing about how stress affects the body. It was Hans Selye. And he found that stressful thoughts and emotional upsets causes cancer to grow faster. Now that was a radical idea back in the 40s and 50s. Radical idea, okay? Today, it's accepted that the thoughts that we keep can accelerate the pace at which disease takes over, okay? You ever read, there's a book out, and I don't think I've read it. It's called Laugh Your Way to Health. Anybody ever heard of that? There's people that have gotten diagnosed with serious diseases, that the way they treated it, which I think is pretty interesting, is they bought all these, they got checked out or bought or whatever, all these comedies, and started watching comedies and started laughing. Some of these people got rid of their health issues. You know, like cancer and all kinds of things, just by laughing, okay? Just by changing their mindset. So that's what Selye is talking about. Now, Reiki Hamer came along in the 80s, and he produced scientific proof that every cancer has a negative emotional origin, and specific diseases have specific emotional traumas associated with them. So, for example, lung disease was associated with grief or sorrow. Okay, stomach and small intestine, indigestible anger. Liver, starvation of love. Okay, and he categorized, and then he took it a lot farther though. He looked at MRI scans, started looking at MRI scans of his patients, and found that there was a part of the brain for every single cancer that was off, that he could locate on a functional MRI that wasn't working. And he knew it, and there's a specific part of the brain for a specific disease, for a specific emotion, and he's able to catalog those. What do you think happened to him, by the way? He's German. What do you think happened to him?
They probably laughed at him.
Yeah, persecuted.
Yeah.
It took his license away for this stuff. Okay? Yeah, persecuted him. Okay? Because this is so radical, because it didn't involve pharmaceuticals, didn't involve that. And so if you look at what he is doing, what he's doing, this is real health care right here. This is health care. This isn't sick care. Sick care is our system that we have now. You go in, you get a pharmaceutical, you have a problem, you get a drug, you have this issue, you get that drug. That's a sick care, symptom care system, okay? What I'm proposing to you and what I do in this office is health care. That's what he's doing. He's giving people health care. This is what he's looking for, causes of problems. So we render care to ourselves every day by the beverages we choose to drink, okay? By what's the worst? What are some of the worst beverages you can drink?
Soda.
Yeah, so Coca-Cola. Okay, yeah.
Energy drinks.
What?
Energy drinks.
Energy drinks. Good job. Yeah, energy drinks. Nasty. Okay. We render care by whether or not we choose to exercise. Okay. The food we choose to eat. Now, let's just say this. Yeah, I beat this drum to death here. And I'll say this. If you're eating a diet that's 85% pretty clean, you could probably cheat on the other 15%. You can have cheesecake every now and then. You can cheat. But if your diet is 90% processed food and you're eating 10% real food, man, you're on a path towards some bad things happening in your life. I can tell you that. How much we chew our food. That's the one I fall down on quite a bit. Whether or not we smoke cigarettes, whether we drink to extreme, okay? What does alcohol do to us?
It's a toxin that the liver has to detox out of us.
Yeah, it gives you a fatty liver. It kills brain cells really hard on the brain.
Give you cirrhosis of the liver.
Cirrhosis, yeah.
Just makes your liver work harder to detoxify the alcohol.
Exactly. And well, not only that, but if you look at the chemical structure of sugar and alcohol, sugar is nothing more than a bunch of alcohol units stacked on top of each other. It's really what it is. I mean, I've taken biochemistry, and that's really, if you look at it, alcohol is a refined carbohydrate when it's all said and done. Whether we have limited sugar or too much sugar, I know none of you have ever eaten too much sugar, but there are some people out there that have, okay? Whether we consume artificial sweeteners, which damage our nervous system, okay? Not good. I'm trying to think of the worst one out there, the worst artificial sweetener.
Sweet 10.
Stevia.
No, stevia is not the worst.
Aspartame?
Aspartame's bad, but there's one that's worse than that. Sucralose.
Oh, yeah.
Sucralose. That's really bad. That's that's basically a chlorinated hydrocarbon. Chlorinated hydrocarbons are what they use for a lot of pesticides, are chlorinated hydrocarbons. So I would never just stay away from artificial sweeteners. And are we rendering care to our body every living and breathing second? I would say yes. What about when we're sleeping? Are we rendering care to our body when we sleep? Okay, how so?
The body has a chance to catch up and repair.
Right.
Yeah. So when would how would we not be rendering care to our body when we sleep?
By not getting enough sleep.
That would be one, sure. Sleep's really, really important. How about just when you go into bed angry, okay, and letting that percolate in our heads all night?
Anxiety in general.
Yeah.
You're thinking, you wake up in the middle of the night and then you're thinking again and it takes forever to go back to sleep.
Yeah. Going to bed mad, going to bed upset. What does the Bible say? Don't let the sun go down on your wrath, or is that? Yeah. I mean, So even when we sleep, if we're going to bed mad or angry or upset, what does that do? It percolates in our brain all night. So lifetime care is not a choice. The only choice is what we choose to engage in. So those friends that say to you, are you still going back to that chiropractor? Are you still eating that health food? The question they should be asking you is, what are you doing? What are you engaging in that's making you healthier? And I have friends that we ask those questions of each other. In fact, one of them is your cousin, Bob. He's one of them, And we have talks like that. Like, what are you doing with your workout now? What are you doing? What are you eating? We talk about things like that. Those are really the questions that need to be asked. So I'm going to skip over this. This is all about the coronavirus. What about rendering care to children? So children have a spine and a nervous system. They need care too. I take care of entire families in my office. The parents tell me, in fact, I have one mother who says our kids are the healthiest kids I know. They don't take any pharmaceuticals. They don't get vaccinated, nothing, okay? They get chiropractic care. Now, they're also getting fed pretty well at home, and so their parents are feeding them like they should too. But kids respond extremely well to chiropractic care, and chiropractic care is caught. And I've seen these kids grow up, and I'm thinking if I stay in practice long enough, I'll probably be taking care of their kids eventually as well. So my request to you, as your doctor of chiropractic, who takes care of your spine, which controls all your body functions, is to keep doing things like the spinal exercises I give you, like right here. Workplace ergonomics. Take care of how how is your posture when you're working? Those things are really, really important. Here's another thing to remember about how your body works, is that if you don't use your ligaments properly, they start fibrosing and getting hard over time, so they don't work as well. So it doesn't matter where they are, if they're in your neck or your knee or wherever. So if you want to keep those ligaments fertile, getting adjusted is one of the best ways to do it, along with exercise. That's why people that don't get exercise, that's why their bodies break down, because the ligaments start getting hard and they don't get stretched, they don't get used, and people start literally rusting out rather than wearing out. Why is it important to keep ligaments healthy? Anybody know? Why is that important?
So you keep moving.
Does it hold your joints together?
They hold your joints together.
They don't get a lot of blood flow to heal if they get damaged.
Right. They don't get a lot of blood flow. So keeping your ligaments moving, okay, actually causes fluid to go in and out. It helps them. It nourishes them, okay? But here's another thing about ligaments, and you probably heard me say this before. I'll say it again because I want you to understand it. Ligaments are extremely important because they have a very, very rich nerve supply. And ligaments tell us where our bodies are in space and time. So the ligaments in our neck tell us where our head is, okay? And the ligaments in our knees, spine tell us where we are when we're walking, okay? So when our ligaments don't work right, okay, that's when we start having balance issues and things like that. So ligaments help us, give us proprioception, and we don't want to lose proprioception. Now there's ways that you can work on that. You know, like one of the things I do is I run up hills backwards, okay, in my neighborhood. I'm the only one who does that, by the way. No one else that I know does it. So I run up hills backwards because I want my body to do something that's radically different in terms of balance. So I want to maintain my balance as long as I can. Now, that's not the only balance exercise you can do. There's plenty of other ones. But I do several exercises like that because I'm trying to get my proprioception, my ligaments trained so I don't lose balance as I get older. Some people have the habit of going from health tragedy to health tragedy, crisis to crisis. Anybody in here know people like that? One crisis to the next. I mean, I know lots of people like that. You know, that's a form of lifetime care. Now, if that's the way you think about lifetime care, you're going to be really frustrated in our office because we encourage lifetime care based on wisdom and deliberately engaged with virtue. So doing things that actually keep yourself healthy. I would say that a large portion of our society, this is their form of lifetime care. Crisis to crisis. You know, I had this happen, or I had this happen, now this happened. You know, and if you start talking to them about things like exercise and diet and how you're taking care of yourself, you don't have to go very far before you can figure out why, okay? So our society gives us so many confusing messages regarding health diets and nutrition, and Elisa, you were just talking about all the fad diets. That's why I do these classes, because I try and sift through things so you understand things better. And I'll tell you something, I don't know everything there is to know. I don't. I'll tell you something I just learned recently, which is fascinating. I kind of knew it, but now I know it a lot better. Is this guy who has a really deep understanding of physiology. I was watching his video last week. He was talking about the relationship between copper and iron in the body. And he said that if you want to understand why people have high uric acid, they have low copper. Gout is caused by low copper. What causes low copper in the body? Too much high fructose corn syrup. Chelates copper out of the body. I didn't know that until I watched this video. Okay?
Is that the only reason?
That's the primary reason. Yeah. High fructose causes high uric acid by chelating copper out of the body. People that have low iron, I'm telling you stuff that I just recently learned. I'm gonna study this a lot more. People that have low iron, reason they have low iron is because they're storing it. It's not in their blood. They don't have enough copper to balance iron. So that's pretty fascinating stuff. So I'm constantly learning this stuff and putting it in my talks. And this is why I do these talks on Tuesday night, because I want a healthier culture. I want a healthier society, and I want to keep my patients healthier. And I want to give you information that you can use, that you can take home and use to make your life healthier, so you don't need me or any other doctor as much. That's why I do these talks. So that's pretty much what I have tonight. Does anybody have any questions? Terry?
What kind of foods can you eat that'll increase your copper intake?
Well, I mean, nuts and seeds are very high
Okay,
in minerals, yeah.
Okay,
Nuts and seeds. So they're like
So
little
same.
mineral factories, okay?
okay.
So you don't have to chew on a copper wire or anything like that.
I certainly wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no, I know you wouldn't,
But
okay?
if you're a
So,
person that can't eat nuts and seeds, what would be something, is there a supplement to take in place of that if that?
oh, sure, yeah, I would use our B12 B12 organic mineral supplement. What's it called, Carmen? Organically bound minerals, or B12.
Or trace minerals.
B12 trace minerals. Yeah, our B12 trace minerals. That's what I would use. That's a really good, because it's organic, whole food source of copper. Yes.
In defense of some people, they only listen to their MDs. They don't know, or they, and I don't understand this because it's in newspapers, it's, more health information is coming out all the time. But evidently, it's in newspapers now and then, it's in magazines here and there, which I don't read. But some people only listen to their MDs, and the MD is taught, here's the pill, how to fix the problem. Rarely does an MD teach people health and wellness, prevention. So I think part of society just feels the MD is the God, and that's all they should listen to. And maybe that's how they were raised, that's what they feel. I don't know.
Well, I think that, physicians are smart people.
Yeah.
I think they're trying to do the right thing for people,
Yes.
but they weren't trained in
Right.
nutrition.
They
They're,
weren't.
it's just not even on their radar.
No.
And the thing is, we're not paid to do this. In other words, there's no money in teaching people to be healthy. And it's just the truth, And so you're correct on that. And so much of our healthcare system, which is, again, is a sick care system, is really controlled by the pharmaceutical industry, by government protocols, by hospital administrators. It's not really controlled by physicians anymore. They can't make their own decisions.
Right. It's use our procedure or get out.
Yeah, and that's pretty much the way it is. And so that's why people like me have classes, so I can teach. What does the actual science say? Okay, I don't care what the pharmaceutical industry says. You can pick up a magazine, and then it's loaded with pharmaceutical ads, like People magazine. Doesn't matter what it is. Loaded with pharmaceutical ads. That's why I don't have those magazines in my office. I don't want that in my office. I don't want people looking at that.
And TV. I mean, how many? I don't know. I don't pay any attention to the pharmaceuticals. I mean, first of all, because I'm not interested. But look what people are bombarded with.
Doesn't even sports have pharmaceuticals that advertise for them? Wasn't a sports thing I saw recently? Or somebody was talking about that they had an advertisement, it was Pfizer?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Pfizer,
And
yeah.
so
Yeah.
And a lot of the truth that comes out in scientific research can't get put on the air because it really goes against the pharmaceutical industry, and the phaceutical industry is paying for a lot of the ads that put
Right.
TV shows on the air. So a lot of the news programs will not air truth that that violates what the drug industry is trying to tell people because of the money involved. So that's just the way our world is right now. It's the way our culture is. Yes. So
Yeah, there's a lot of information out there in terms of nutrition as well. Is there a resource that you would point most people to so they would learn more about how to eat more nutritiously?
yeah, there's a ton of stuff out there. Golly, I'm trying to think of some books that I have. There's a book recently written by a pediatric endocrinologist called Metabolical, which is pretty good. And he talks a lot about eating right, about the problems with our food supply. That's one. Another one is Fat Chance is a pretty good one. I think that's by the same author. The problem, the issue, part of the issue with nutrition is that you can have two people that are very, very well read, very well researched, know a lot, who say things that are completely opposite of each other. And you go, what do you believe? Okay.
Yeah.
What do you believe? Okay. And so I talk a lot about that in some of the nutrition classes that I do, like the whole, we're a little late here, but I'll say this last thing and I'll let you go, okay? Think about leptins, plant leptins, for example. There's a book out, I have it called, it's right on the tip of my tongue, written by a very famous pediatric heart surgeon. And he talks about how plant leptins, tear up the gut, which they do in certain people. But a lot of these plants that have lectins in are the very foods that we're told to eat, like, tomatoes and peppers and things like that. And so I've come to the conclusion on that is Gundry, Stephen Gundry, is the guy who wrote that book.
Which
And
one?
I'm trying to think of the name of this book. Oh, Plant Paradox is the name.
I get his newsletters and stuff.
Yeah, Stephen Gundry.
Oh.
Okay, I like the guy. I like him. But I haven't found that everybody that eats those foods has problems. Okay, some people do, but not everybody does. Okay, and so he'll swear up and down nobody should eat these foods. Yet a lot of the foods that he tells people not to eat are foods that are really good plant foods that a lot of people eat and enjoy, and they don't have any problems with. So you kind of have to distill this out, and not everything applies to everybody. Okay, that's the issue. Now I think this book Metabolical, Fat Chance. He wrote another one called Hacking of the American Mind, which is pretty good too. But those Metabolical really goes into how the food processing industry and the government have sort of colluded, just make everybody sick.
Yep.
And this is a pediatric endocrinologist who's basically just exposing the whole food system, pharmaceutical system, everything. It's a pretty good book. Okay, I've got it in my library in the back there. And so there's another book that's out, that's just come out, written by John Abramson, who I have his first book right down there. His book is Sickening: How the Pharmaceutical Industry Makes Everybody Sick. I'm gonna get that one pretty soon. But he's concentrating on, and Lustig in his book Metabolical says the same thing, is that pharmaceuticals are bad for you. They're just bad, and they go into why. So anyway, I have a whole talk on that. So on the side, one of my talks is on the side effects of over-the-counter medication. We're going to do that one. I don't know if it's later this year, early next year. So listen, it's 10 after 7. I said only keep you here till 7. So that's all I have for you. If you have any questions about lifetime care, or you have people that are interested in that would like to talk to me, they can make an appointment. I'd be glad to talk to them and do a spinal evaluation on them and help them along in their health journey to get better, so they don't have to get older and get decrepit, you know, because we want to age. We want to be able to be healthy and do things as we age, okay? That's my goal for people. Okay, we're good. It's 10 after 7. I kept you an extra 10 minutes. In 2 weeks, we're going to do how not to shrink your brain, okay? So if you want to keep your brain healthy, come in 2 weeks, and you're going to find out how to do it, okay?